Alright, so this is the current items for Season 6, Conquest and non-Conquest for Loki. I do not really recommend you ever build the defense items down below. However, all the other items can be used with good effect. Wind Demon is not on this list because the attack speed and movement speed is not effectively used by Loki. The Poison Star is there because it provides crowd control in the way of a slow, so you'll be able to get more auto attacks off on somebody before they can escape, and you'll be setting up for your team. Hydra's Lament is a bit of a touchy subject this season after the nerf. In non conquest game modes, Hydra's Lament can sometimes restrict your ability to kill somebody because you're sacrificing an item slot you could previously use for penetration or crits. In Conquest, you're going to be using all 6 of your item slots so you can get maximum crit and maximum pen. Okay? You can sell your boots and get the speed consumable in Conquest. So you're going to be able to have good damage all the time in Conquest. It's not an issue. He's still quite good in Conquest. It's where he struggles the most is outside of Conquest, where you're not allowed to sell your boots and have a 6-item build. So now you're left with 5 items that you can actually do something with, because you're going to be forced into getting Warrior Tabby in this season. The Teleria boots can no longer be used because they have 20 less power than Warrior Tabi, and because of his auto attack, the first auto attack in his chain of auto attacks has been nerfed by 25% damage. That 20 extra power actually is a pretty significant hit to your overall effectiveness. Before, it didn't really matter because the scaling on the first auto was so strong. But now you want all the power you could possibly have so you can make your first auto attack strong. So previously, it was already strong. Now, it is only strong if you build power. So saying that, going against this team, I think we'll be fine. The Discordia is an easy kill. She has a very small chance of escaping. She could immunity frames my ultimate or any of my abilities, but she can only jump about 30 units. Really not that far. Her 2-1 combo has been nerfed into the fucking ground with the changes to all the different magic items in the game since Season 5. She is no longer a top tier mage. She is average at best. She cannot turn and burn and one-shot kill us, no matter what happens. The only possible way she could do that is if she builds Polynomicon and gets some crazy combo where she does 2-1 auto attack and then ult auto attack. That's it. So she's a kill. The Nija is easy to kill unless they build tank. Then they're hard to kill for any god in the game. Nija tank is quite successful this season, with the addition of Blackthorn Hammer being 450 HP. And Nija's crowd control is pretty heavy. However, the damage that follows when building tank is nothing to be too worried about. So, we could kill Nija, even in worst case scenario. The people we can't kill, however, is Merlin, Uller, and King Arthur. Now, previously, when the auto attack was not nerfed and you could just rely on it to always be good, I would say Uller and Merlin were an easy kill. But I'm not going to say that anymore because it's not true. Uller's health pool can reach over 2,000 without building a single health item by level 20 as a hunter. Most hunters can. Now, because you're doing 25% reduced damage on your first auto attack, which is supposed to be your second strongest auto attack, you're not going to have a fucking chance in hell to ever kill any hunter at level 20 with a single combo. It just won't happen. The only way you're going to do that is if you can amplify your first auto attack's damage. The only way you can currently do that is with Hydra's Lament, Heartseeker, or crits. Now, we all know that Hydra's Lament is pretty good. However, it's not going to let you one-shot a person just for having it. It's just going to give you like an extra 100 or 200 damage. That's all. Not that big of a deal. And the power on the item itself is quite bad, considering the nerf that we already have. So Hydra's Lament might not be the best choice. Heartseeker will add like 80% of your total physical power in extra damage after your current damage hits them. So essentially, if we build full trans and do maximum power build, we could hit them for an extra 200 to 300 damage, guaranteed, every single time, as long as it's got stacks. So that would actually solve a lot of our problem of his auto attack being nerfed. So we can do that. Then we have crits. With crits, you're relying on RNG to help you, unlike Heartseeker or Hydra's Lament, which is guaranteed bonus damage. Crits are not guaranteed. It's a % chance that it will occur. Now with this build, we're going to have a 20% chance to crit, or a 25%. I forget what Deathbringer is off the top of my head. Basically, we're not going to have that much crit chance. But the point is, with Deathbringer being 30% extra crit damage on top of normal crit damage, we will be hitting very hard, assuming we get lucky. If we do not get lucky, we will still be hitting reasonably hard. And what I mean by that is if the first auto attack does not hit a crit, then we're going to rely on our 50% damage secondary sideways auto attacks. You know, where he like slashes sideways after the first one. Those are very weak. Those are generally regarded as a waste of time to even use. If we have to rely on those for a crit, we will do average to high damage. Probably won't kill anyone unless we hit the crit on the first auto. So, I'm currently building Transcendence. You get power, cooldowns, and a large mana pool with the Transcendence. The moment you buy it, you get all that. When you stack it, all you get is more mana, which is converted into more power. So, once it evolves, it gives you a flat rate of like plus 1,000 mana, gives you the plus 35 base power, gives you the plus 10% cooldown, okay? So it's a pretty good item, because you do get the cooldowns, and they're very essential on Loki. Without cooldowns, you're going to struggle, because he revolves entirely around his abilities. If you only use his auto attacks, you never use his abilities. You will always do poorly. You can never win a fight without his abilities. It's unfortunate, but it's how it works. So, as I said earlier, you can't get Teleria Boots anymore because it has 20 less power. So now we're back to Warrior Tabi with a moderately slow walk speed, compared to if we add Teleria Boots. Okay, so now what do you do when you have to catch someone? Well, earlier I stated you could get the Poison Star and get a slow when you hit a crit. Now that's great, but the power on the Poison Star item is only about 20. The crit chance is only about 15%. It's not a reliable item at all. The only reason you would ever get it is if you absolutely needed a slow item. And even then, we're kind of leaning towards Frostbound might be a better choice. I really don't think it is, but I'm just saying. It's moderately better in some situations with the power difference. So currently here, I've noticed that Uller has built Runeforged Hammer to give him a 15% damage buff to anything he hits with his slow, or his stun, or his crowd control, or anything like that. So I know that the 250 base health on that item is going to make him much harder to kill. That's basically saying that one of our auto attacks will not affect him in any way from his previous state. So here I went in on the Nija, because the Nija was low, the team was retreating to Fountain, and I figured they're probably not going to turn around in time to save him. I was correct. As you saw, we didn't actually kill him with our initial combo. We had to kill him with the tick damage, and the team had to help on top of that. If the team was not there, the Bacchus, for example, I am fairly certain we would not have killed that Nija. That is the problem with new Loki. Without the crits, You do not have the power to one combo or all in anybody until you get your full trans stacked, of course. So in this match, I've decided that Hydra's Lament was the right choice based on the other team's build decisions. So I have noticed that Uller is going to build partial tank by just having the item he's already partially tank. So I opt in for this item because it has 10% cooldowns, or is it 20% cooldowns? I don't fucking remember. I think it's 10% cooldowns. The power is poo poo. However, the other team is also poo poo, as you have just witnessed. That Discordia misplayed that a lot. What she should have done was never vaulted, never have been aggressive, and stayed back. With low HP, you're on cooldown, you've just either stay in your fog and contemplate how you're about to die, or never get in that situation in the first place. As you saw, we all into the Nija, and my trans got full stacked off that, and we're all good. It's gotten to the point with Hydras being online that we did have the damage to kill them. We are just lucky they're not building support Nija, which is definitely a fucking garbage meta, but it is something that has existed for a while. If you noticed, I double bought 2 items. That was an accident. When you double click an item in Smite now, sometimes it buys 2 of the item. It's just a bug. What I'm going into now is a Heartseeker for the King Arthur. As I've learned the hard way, playing as a King Arthur against a Loki, if a Loki, or any assassin for that matter, buys a Heartseeker against King Arthur just loses the fight. He will get chunked to half HP before he can even get off any of his kit, because all of his abilities have delays. So now, we have Transcendence stacked. There's not much reason for me to be doing this wave, but I'm just trying to farm up gold to get my crits as fast as possible. So now we have our Heartseeker online. Now, I'm going to go into a Titan's Bane after this item, because it's going to be my only penetration item. And if I had to choose one penetration item on a physical character, I would choose Titan's Bane, because it'll give you the broadest spectrum of possible ownage. You will be able to kill everybody. You can kill the squishies, maybe not as effectively as if you had a high amount of flat pen, since their protections are low and Titan's Bane is not extremely effective. As you've seen here, that Discordia just messed up. When you're running away from someone and you turn around to look at them, your movement speed gets slowed down, as I'm demonstrating right there. I was noticing that if they had kept running, I would never have caught them, because I didn't have my ultimate, and they could have just outran me. On foot, since Heartseeker no longer gives movement speed, Loki cannot outrun anybody at a straight, like, side-by-side race. The only people he can outrun is maybe a Zeus, and even then it's a maybe. So basically, by her turning around just for the 1 second to look and see who is behind her, guaranteed her death right there. Here I decided I'm going to try and go in on the lowest health person. They Aegis, but I was able to get my DOT onto them in time, so that did kill them. I did not feel the need to brace her any damage there, because I noticed it was a Discordia ultimate on us, and it wasn't actually the main apple, it was the secondary apple that came from a teammate. Yeah, Discordia is not good. You can kind of ignore her, as I've been doing. I'm not helping the Bacchus, he's in no danger. I'm all-inning the Merlin because he's out of mana, so the chance that he could blink away, I'm not sure if he did use his blink when I had seen him, but basically he couldn't turn and burn on us even if he could blink away. I was worried that Uller might kill us in that situation, but I was fairly confident. We do have like a 5 or 10% crit chance or something right now. Nothing great. Essentially, think of it as you don't have crits right now, even though you do. Um, the Loki backstabs are not crits. I don't know if anyone watching this is aware of that. They have a similar art style, but they are definitely not crits. And if you saw there, we actually did hit a crit on our sideways slash on the Nija as we turned away. What we did was we went in with our invis, we auto attacked, we 3'd auto attacked, and then we did another auto attack, initiating the second auto attack in the auto attack chain. I know this is confusing, but basically we did an upward slash for maximum possible damage without doing the overhand slash, which is the final one where you somersault. So we did our big dick damage, and then we did a sideways slash at the last second as we turned away, and it crit for about 389. And that is the only reason we killed Nisha. Without that crit, they would have lived. So now I'm just kind of wandering around looking for what I could possibly be doing. We are sitting 10-0 right now. We are carrying the game pretty well. I'm meleeing that post to let you know that if you want to win your arena games, do not cross the enemy's side on the 2 pillars. The first 2 pillars on the enemy side of the map, do not cross it, unless your team is going in with you. The reason is, the enemy has a shorter distance from the fight to the fountain, back to the fight. They'll be able to have a few people distract you, well, they keep going to the fountain and then coming back to the fight with full health, full mana every fucking time. And the problem with that is that, yes, you might be able to kill the person distracting you, but okay, now you're on cooldown and their team is fresh out of the fountain running straight at you, and you're too far away from your team or your fountain to get any assistance whatsoever. And if you saw that immune on the corner of the screen, you'll notice that the Discordia just used her Aegis in that fight. That is something you always want to pay attention to, is when people use their Aegis, because Aegis is the absolute counter to Loki, unfortunately. And now, as you see, we can afford our Deathbringer. So, now we got crits online. We got our bonus damage on the crit. We got our bonus damage to the crit with Hydra's Lament. We got our bonus damage to the crits and the Lament with our Heartseeker. So if we get lucky and hit a crit, someone's dead. Like, there's nothing they can do about it. They're just dead. It's not very fun for them, but it's very fun for the Loki. Going in on the Discordia because I know there's nowhere she can hide. I get too greedy, I miss completely, and I kill the Bacchus because he tries to save me and I have to ditch him. I think I would go in and help him, and then I realize I just got hit by Merlin for a lot more damage than I anticipated, because I didn't realize I was in his circle until it was too late. And Bacchus died, and it was completely my fault. If I had never gone in and been greedy, Bacchus never would have died. The Bacchus was just doing his job, trying to be a good support. However, part of the blame is on him because he noticed none of the other team was helping. And he noticed that it was just him and me and 5 enemies. Probably not a good situation to walk into. Probably should have just said I was an idiot and let me die. So here I'm trying to fight the Uller. He beads before I even used my slow. He just panic beads, it's very clear. The Discordia has no idea I'm here. She just walks right into my decoy. Absolutely brain dead player. You'll notice we've been failing at killing people a few times, and right there, I would have just committed suicide if I had ulted the Uller. I would have been half in his fountain, half out, and taken massive damage and most likely died. Not even guaranteeing I could kill him, because he was technically in his fountain, so he probably would have healed. I'm not going to help our team, unfortunately, in this situation. I'm going to go for the loner and guarantee the kill. As Loki, with his new nerf state, you must guarantee the kill. Didn't hit any crits there, nothing too crazy. Overall, we got pretty unlucky. We're just lucky Discordia is a terrible god, and there's really nothing she can do to stop us. That's really what it's coming down to. We're just picking on, like, the weak kid. It sucks, but it's what it is. So right now I'm thinking, well, I have a lot of gold. I'm not really able to find an opening right now. I'm kind of saving up for a 3K pot in the back of my mind, but I know that it probably won't happen by the time the game's over. I'm gonna go in on the Discordia again, but unfortunately I miss. Um, it was a very bad choice on my part to go in on her when she was clearly out of my range. Of course, she's a complete failure and just throws a random ult in the middle of nowhere. What else would a Discordia do? Now, I'm talking a lot of trash about Discordia because I used to main Discordia. I got her to like 1,500 worshippers in like 2 months. It is like my favorite god for a while. But I've since realized she's pretty garbo. So right there, as you saw, I got a little antsy. I was a little bored, very greedy. I just jumped in on the first guy I saw with low health, didn't pay any attention to where the enemy team was, and immediately got punished for it. That's not Loki being bad, that's just me being a fucking idiot. So as you can see here, I'm just kind of walking around, wasting time. And a lot of what you do as Loki is waste time while you wait for someone to fuck up. I'm going in on the Discordia again for the chance of a fat crit. And as you just saw, 866. Mission success, we have hit a crit, almost instantly guaranteeing her death. If you know, Discordia has a health pool of about 1,000 health majority of the whole game. So hitting a crit for that much is massively devastating. There's no comeback from that unless the Discordia had a bracer of undoing, which she obviously doesn't, because she's an idiot. Not like it would even help you in the first place on Discordia, because, you know, most of the time you get hit once you die. So as you can see with the new build that I've devised, I stole some of this build from Weaken. Weaken's build does more crits and more attack speed and less, like, bonus damage stuff. But I've learned through a lot of trial and error that attack speed crit is not what you want to do. You actually want penetration bonus damage crit. That's the best combo. This build will work in any non-conquest game mode. If it was conquest, I would sell the boots and go for either a crusher or a malice. I might get a poison star, but crusher or malice is what I would do. You'll see we only did about 20,000 damage. We're not really hitting that hard. We're just doing normal Loki things. We are simply running around, securing kills, killing the people that are too far away from their team to be saved, and we're taking advantage of being the big bully against gods that have no possible way of defending themselves. So, new Loki can be successful, but there's too many drawbacks and there's too many, like, forced requirements for him to be successful in all situations. For example, if someone got spectral armor or someone focuses a shitload of physical defense to counter you, even with a crit build, you're not really going to do a whole lot. In fact, you might start losing pretty badly. All in all, if you're already really good at Loki, you're probably going to keep being pretty good at Loki. You're just going to have to adjust your playstyle because he no longer has his damage mitigation in his ultimate. He no longer has a one-hit ability on his basic attack. It just can't happen unless you get extraordinarily lucky with a crit. And even then, your crit is hitting for about the same as the original base damage. So original Loki with a crit was way better than current Loki with a crit. Final thoughts. If you follow my build guide where I showed the general items you use on Loki, and you use this type of build that I just did in any non-conquest game mode, or even if you use this build in Conquest, and you trade out the boots for pen or more crits, you're probably going to do just fine. If you go into a fight thinking you're going to 1v5, you're going to lose. It's quite simple. Just look for the weaklings. There's nothing else Loki can do. Almost every assassin can do what Loki does 10 times better because they can team fight. So all in all, have a good day.